Hello, everyone. We should be live now. I am Son of Sonnet, a voice actor, audiobook narrator, poet, and I guess sometime now VTuber. So I'm here with my wonderful guest, Lord Maulington. How are you, Lord Maulington?
Hello, thank you very much for having me on, buddy. I am very well. Good to see everybody. I'm here to have a bloody good time. I'm looking forward to it.
Should be good. Now, Lord Maulington, is there any special content that you specialize in that you would like everyone to know
Oh,
about?
yeah, thank you. I'm a variety streamer, so I do a bit of everything, but I'm most known for making video essays, documentaries on stuff relating to VTubing and VTubing adjacent stuff. So yeah, if you enjoy that kind of thing, check out the channel. Thank you, thank you.
And as an appreciator of VTubers or special virtual women, I imagine you have a favorite. Could you like to share that with the audience? Who is your Oshi?
I do. My Oshi is Kanako Lumi of Phase Connect. She's been my Oshi for over 4 years now. So yeah, it's been quite a while and consistent as well. Consistent one.
Very nice. She has a very pleasant personality.
Yeah, she's someone heard someone once describe her as being oppressively feminine, and I thought that's a perfect way to describe her.
I don't know if it's oppressive. Endearing is the word I think is
Yeah,
the best, most suited to it. And very recently, you had a bit of a run-in with a bunch of hot sauces, as I understand.
I did. It's a common meme, right? That Europeans, particularly the British, don't touch hot sauces. So we've got virgin tongues. And so I decided, despite being a complete hot sauce novice, I went for hot sauces like the Last Dab Experience, which has a rating of around 2.2 million, and stuff like the Bomb as well, that famous sauce. So yeah, that was a good time.
Doesn't it always just get more absurd every year with different hot sauces, though?
I think it does.
Like
It seems to be like every year. Yeah.
eventually you have to stop because there's going to be a health concern or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I've made this mistake, though, because every time that we look into getting special kinds of beef jerky, my family and I will also dabble in whatever is the spiciest version of it. So it's like,
Oh, I see.
what was it? Was like the ghost chili peppers or whatever.
Mhm.
And we got like special jerky that was like ghost chili jerky or whatever. And unfortunately, it wasn't that it was too spicy. It was actually that it just didn't taste very good because it was like a mango flavor that it had. It just had some other quality that just didn't accentuate it properly.
That was my experience as well with the hot sauces, funnily enough. The first 4, which were quite light, I thought were absolutely delicious, honestly. But once you got to the hotter sauces, it just tasted absolutely revolting, really. So I was like, well, why would you buy this other than the bragging rights of being able to take it? Because it tastes gross.
Yeah, I think it's kind of dangerous to get into little fads without, like, just for the extremity of it, because you got to be able to like what's mild or, to call it boring, I guess, but you got to be able to like the mundane in order to appreciate the extremes.
Exactly. That's right. You can't have one without the other, really. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am personally a fan of theater, and I have some education in it, and that's sort of been my area. But what is your experience with theater?
Probably no more than most kids who did it at school, really. I did English literature in school up until you did. I'm just trying to convert this into Americanisms. So I majored using Americanisms. I majored in theatre and English literature at the end of high school, basically. So I stopped doing it after high school.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's That's most people's experience in the U.S. So, like the funny thing about demographics for theater in modern day is that the people that are usually into it are either fresh into college or they are retiring.
Oh, really? I didn't know the last one.
There is kind of no in between. Yeah, I think it's just that when you get older, you do eventually want something more physical and genuine, and you kind of need to wind down and actually be there in the space.
No, I can see. One thing I do like, actually, kind of tangenting away just slightly a little bit from that, but like voice
all good.
acting,
Yeah.
talking about that is I like audiobooks, and I like the kind of advertisements that are done by very cheerful sounding old people with a nice rich voice. Actually, I do like the older demographic doing voice acting.
Yeah, there's certain kinds of rich voices that you can only get after you're old enough.
Mm.
I mean, your voice will change radically over time, depending on how well you take care of yourself. But oddly enough, sometimes the more messed up your vocal cords are, the more endearing it can be.
Yeah, can
I
imagine.
mean, have you ever heard of? Well, do you know who Norm Macdonald is? He's a comedian.
I do, Norm. Yeah, I love Norm.
Yeah, Norm is great. But you know how radically his voice changed. So he started how a bit more like up in like an upper register, a bit of like a nasally sort of sound, and he always had his sort of flow and everything. But as he got older, he started to get really craggly, and it was just sort of.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Actually, now you say it like that,
He starts doing his podcast, and he still got his same. Well, he still got like his sense of humor and his unique charm, but he just has like a smoker voice or some kind of alcohol voice. He really ruined his throat.
Kind of sounds a little bit like a ghoul from Fallout, right? It's like, what do you want, smooth skin?
Yeah, exactly. But it's like it's like any kind of smoker voice, or say, for example, for certain female actors or whatever, the kind of effect that it has or whatever after they've indulged in so many cigarettes, but we're just intent on the audience to really like it anyway. Because they're still beautiful women, I guess. So,
I like beautiful women.
Yeah. So the thing is, we kind of don't mind if, if a performer has a bad cold or has COVID and she wants to stream anyway. I think we're all happy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll form the mental, what do you call it? We'll gaslight ourselves into believing that it's like the perfect voice or something. It was like a whole episode of Friends or whatever with like Phoebe Buffay got a cold, and all of a sudden she was making more money as a singer.
That's funny actually. Yeah, it's kind of like it could be. It's like, yeah, it's like you generally don't notice it. I think it's like after a while, after listening to someone, unless it's an immediate drastic change, you kind of slowly acclimatize to any changes in the voice. I find I don't notice it.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because when you think of a physical space, the acoustics matter so much for getting good vocal performance. The design of the auditorium is essential, and that's why it's called an auditorium, just so you can properly hear everything and get the right performances. There's like a spot in the globe where they take tourists, and it's like a perfect speaking spot where like they'll allow people that are on the tour to just kind of recite or a monologue or whatever. So sometimes people bring their own or something, and when they speak in that spot, the entire place can hear them. And it's like they don't have to really yell or exert themselves very hard.
That sounds grand. Yeah.
But the design of it is just immaculate, I suppose.
It's.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
I was just thinking of a local Shakespeare theater. Kind of went through a whole multi-million-dollar process to build a new theater. They basically worked for years in like the bottom of an apartment complex to raise money, and then they got like the community to spend like millions of dollars on a new theater for themselves. And like the big thing that they were focusing on was the proper acoustics, for getting it's like patented designs and things, and they had to do something weird with. So one, they had like two different entryways, or two they had like a stopgap room in between like the lobby, and there's like an in-between room, and then they can get into the audience. But also the walls themselves are like a special kind of concrete. The concrete was shaped in such a way that made it more that just made it more appropriate for acoustics. It was like it was almost designed to look more like wood, I guess, or something like that. But it was very
I thought
intricate.
it was wood. Oh,
No,
interesting.
well, I'm not talking about the globe, but I'm just talking about like just a more local place. But yeah,
Mm.
sometimes you can make concrete kind of appear a bit more like wood or whichever, um, in its shape, in its construction, its texture, and that has some kind of effect. But anyway,
Yeah.
it was just
Is Shakespeare still pretty big in the US then? So do you still study Shakespeare extensively there?
well, the thing is, Shakespeare is going to probably only be as big as certain educational programs are going to care about it.
Mm.
So in the U.S., as a theater is always on the decline. It is always on the verge of dying, and it's been that way probably since before I was born.
Mm.
We've had like a so it's hard to describe, but although I fell in love with the genre with of classical theater and Shakespeare's plays when I was in high school, but the thing is, there wasn't a ton. We have like that local Shakespeare company I mentioned. They had like an education program where they do tours around the city and such, and people can watch like little shows for free at the parks. They'll,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
yeah, it is. But I find it's tougher when you go into other areas of entertainment or even into theater or like people my age or the like that are studying theater. A lot of people I think don't really properly respect Shakespeare, or they lose interest, or they hold some kind of resentment. And it's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
but it's, but I think there are multiple factors that go into like the state of theater as an industry, and people have different incentives with their time and different technologies, so they're appealing to different things. And so one of my operating theories, which is a bit silly, is that like a lot of people that would be watching theater right now are actually kind of into VTubing. Uh, be,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that'll track.
it might be a bit odd, but um, despite the fact that theater is so, I don't know, theater is so fundamental to entertainment and to like the way we view the process for creating a work and everything. Now, some
Mhm.
things don't entirely translate. There are nuances, but like when you are in a theater, you're an actor. The thing you make or the thing you perform is a play. You are playing a play. It is just that fundamental to the process. So,
No, that makes sense. Yeah,
so,
it's kind of like, sorry,
so
yeah, go
yeah.
on.
Right now with VTubing, we got and VTubing, of course, being an offshoot of the idol culture and everything. But that in itself is also kind of like a musical theater kind of setup. And a
No,
lot
that
of,
makes sense.
yeah. But not
Uh,
everyone has those same talents or they want to focus on different things. And nowadays, the plays that people are playing are just video games. And
yeah,
the,
I was gonna. Oh, sorry. Yep.
no, you're good. You're good.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I have more cynical kind of view where I'm like, well, I think a big part of it as well is it's tied to why people don't seem to read much these days either. Really, it's like I think the invention of the smartphone, uh, wide, much greater access to the internet, stuff like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, etc., has killed people's attention span and just ability to sit still for like 2 hours or however long to really soak in and focus and pay attention to something being delivered in front of them.
I don't know if it's killed it, but it's definitely got, well, people have different incentives. Like I say, it usually just comes down to that. So,
Mhm,
like the amount of time that, well, first of all, it has a lot to do with parenting and education.
mhm.
So, like the quality of parenting and education will affect what people spend their time on, regardless of how easy it is to spend time on, browsing TikTok or whatever. But the thing is, people like parents have had the opportunity to use television, video games, etc., to distract their kids or to keep them occupied.
Mhm.
And sometimes their goal is just, well, a lot. Sometimes this is well-meaning, where it's like, I want to make my kid happy, but then you give them like the sugar that you don't know is or the fast food that you don't know is just designed to keep them addicted to that high
Yeah.
or whatever. It so people just go to where their incentives are of I want that quick high of whatever it is. Um, and so yeah, like theater's an in between. So the most intellectual exercise people are going to have is they're reading a book, you know. And if you go to you're going to go to a movie or whatever, watching some maybe a live stream or something, you're having whatever stimulation that you're having with a movie. But with theater, you're having like a bit of a sandwiched in between of that intellectual environment and the stimulation that you get from from all the rest of the senses taking place.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Kind of growing up when I was very, very small, I kind of spent all my free time was split between reading paperback books and playing video games and watching movies. Particularly reading and movies is actually what I spent most of my time on. So yeah, it kind of like theatre is the natural evolution of that, I guess. So I guess I kind of like after watching movies and reading books and stuff, you kind of think I'd like to put some of the stuff I learned into practice,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's acting in or like writing a screenplay or something. So yeah, I think theatre is like it's like a natural progression from that, I guess, if you're really interested in that kind of thing.
Now, I've never been to the Globe personally, but
Hmm.
have you ever been?
I've never been either myself, actually. No.
Yeah. Um, one thing I know is that the no, I forget is well, you probably wouldn't know. So I kind of forget if it's just like one specific theater company that uses the Globe or if they rent it out to other kind of troops or anything. I'm assuming not. But I was just looking at my reference material that I have in my desk, and it's like I have a book by the Royal Shakespeare Company, um, because they do a decent job with translating things over and like consolidating the information from the folios into just proper text for you to look at. They're probably the most faithful editors to the original folios.
I see. Yeah,
So
I would hope so, given the name as well.
yeah, yeah. So the stuff that's going on in our culture today that people think of the most, I think, in terms of like activist editors or whatever, that's like people mistranslating things from Japan or whatever.
Oh, the
We've
localizer
got,
stuff, yeah.
yeah, we've got like a whole generation of people that grew up on a false interpretation of different anime that we grew up with, like Dragon Ball or whichever. And like all the characters, like the way we understand them are just completely morphed by the way the dialogue was changed, for example.
Yeah.
But this also extends into Shakespeare as well. So the way that the English language has evolved and everything. Um, I mean, as human beings, we haven't really changed, but there's always people, even within your own culture, that kind of feel like, hey, I think it would sound better if I moved the punctuation over this way or that way.
Yeah, language and slang develops and changes all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I think this is kind of particularly egregious with Shakespeare because, well, I don't know. I guess it's more like it's a personal affront of mine, you see. Shakespeare, Mr. William Shakespeare is one of the biggest contributors to the English language. How many words did he coin? Just tons and tons.
Tons,
And
yeah.
he did so organically as well. So it's incredibly remarkable what he achieved. Um, to the point that a lot of people just don't think that he existed because it just seems impossible how good he was.
I've heard that as well, only recently, and that theory absolutely astounds me that someone could think like that.
Well, there have been multiple conspiracy theories over time, and it's just like it's a weird fad that comes up from people that don't actually care at all about Shakespeare, the writings, or anything to do with it. They just the idea of a scandal is what interests them.
Actually, on that subject, if I could actually poke you a little bit about another theory I heard recently. Did
Sure.
Shakespeare actually write his own stuff by himself, or did he have help with it?
Well, that is a interesting question because there are some works in which he co-wrote.
Oh,
So
okay.
he didn't write 100% everything, all of the texts that were in his plays, but he was the in-house writer, and actually he basically established the position of being the in-house writer for a theater company.
I
So
see. Okay.
his job was primarily to actually write the plays that the company would use, and also he was the first person to ever get royalties for the plays that he wrote because he basically established the position and the
I see.
precedent.
No, that answers the question, yeah, because the implication I got from, like, the theories I didn't believe, but the implication was that he didn't actually really have anything to do with the writings. He's rather more of a he took credit for them.
So there's like a couple things that could feed into that. But for the sake of like a bit of accuracy, like Shakespeare scholars and such already know or have some assumptions of people he may have worked with on different plays, like in
Mm,
the Scottish play, for example.
mhm,
There are some scenes that we believe may have been written by Mr. Thomas Middleton, and he is it's like the scenes that have Hecate in them are the ones we think were made by him. But
right.
otherwise, we pretty much know that Shakespeare wrote his own stuff. Now, the nuance there is that what Shakespeare wrote, uh, the vast majority of what Shakespeare wrote, were not original works.
Ah,
So,
okay, right.
that's a bit of nuance there, and that's actually what makes it a bit easier for him, I think, to actually create these works and the amount of plays that he wrote. Because most of the time he had a good education, but most of the time he's just adapting things that already exist. So
I see, yeah, that makes sense.
the only two um, the only two original Shakespeare works that have no root in anything that came before are Midsummer Night's Dream and The Tempest.
Oh, I see. I quite like the Midsummer Night's Dream as well, you know? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
as
like
a
I don't think I've not actually s read The Tempest, you know?
the Tempest is interesting. I haven't sat down for the whole thing or properly watched it, which I would like to actually see a performance of it. But it's a nice. It feels like it's a capstone for his career. I don't think it was the last thing he wrote, but it was the last play that he performed in. So it
I
was like
see.
this. It was like I have the list here of like the chronology of his works, but the Tempest came out in 1611, and then there were like three works that came after that. Yeah. But as far as I know, it was the last time he was on stage. I might be wrong, but but he was, because, and I say on stage because he was an actor before he was a writer. Um, and we know that Shakespeare existed because we also knew things like reviews and such that actually called him out by name. Like
Alright.
I had some funny example I came across, which was like it's like a negative review of Comedy of Errors, and the guy is trying to throw some shade at William Shakespeare as like a confident upstart or something who thinks he knows better than everyone else, something like that. And
Some things never change, eh?
yeah, pretty much. So it's all good. And we got Mackers here that we're going to work on. But is there anything you want to go over before I start breaking things down for you?
No, that sounds good actually. Let's get stuck into it. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool, cool. Uh, we have a professor asking a question. Was his birth not recorded in his home parish church's registry? That I kind of forget, to be completely honest, because Shakespeare is one of the most written about people in history, but there are actually remarkably few things that we have to actually say some definitive things. We have like we have some legal document that his father wrote, and I think I thought that was his birth certificate if I'm remembering right, but I kind of can't remember, to be honest. There are other fun things like Shakespeare's will, the joke of the will sort of being that he left his guest bed to his wife, um,
That's random.
which I suppose is like it's the good mattress, effectively, because it would be the least used or something.
Oh, good point. Okay.
That's sort of, I guess, the rationale there. And we know things like he had 3 kids uh, before he was 21. He had 3 kids with Anne Hathaway, who was an older woman. And it was just sort of remarkable. We don't know how he funded like his early education and such. And, we know things like certain scandals or whatever, like with the sonnets and such, that or more like a scandal after the fact. But it's more like that's a whole other conversation of what exactly was going on there. We don't exactly know, and we just don't know. So it's
Maybe a
fuel
bit
for a lot
cheeky.
of it's a fuel for a lot of activists in education because
Bit cheeky silliness, yeah.
oh yeah. So we had well anyway, let me move on from the sonnets because it's a fun conversation, but a little too derivative, I guess.
Okay.
Mackers though has its own wonderful reputation, and for the fun of it, I am indulging in the superstition that you should not say the name of
The Scottish
name
play.
of it unless you are in the performance of it.
I didn't know there was that caveat, but I know all the other law around the Scottish play. Okay.
Yeah, let me. I'll pull this up real quick. But there've been a lot of examples. So there's like where's my a lot of incidents have happened when people have done performances of the Scottish play. So it's people gotten hurt. There was an actress who I have this pulled up. The Curse of the Scottish Play. The Scottish play, the Bard's play. Macbeth is surrounded by superstition and fear of the curse. Uttering the play's name aloud in a theatre causes bad luck. But where did this superstition come from? Sorry if my odd accents offend you
That's
or
good. I
anything.
like it.
All right, so let's see, how long is this? It's not too long. I'm going to read this. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Absolutely.
this is
Please
from
do.
the Royal Shakespeare Company. So we have 16th century Scotland is notorious for its witch hunts, mainly due to King James VI of Scotland's obsession with witchcraft. The violent death of his mother, Mary, Queen of Scots, by execution in 1597 was said to have inspired James's dark fascination with magic. Later, in 1589, when James was sailing back to Scotland from Denmark with his new wife Anne, their ship encountered violent storms at sea, and they were nearly drowned. The Scottish king blamed the evils of witches for conjuring the storm, and following his return to Scotland, ordered a witch hunt in the coastal town of North Berwick. He later wrote Demology, a treatise on witchcraft to further inspire persecutions against witches. And James became King James of England in 1603, and his new subjects were keen to appease him and his views on the demonic Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus. Well, Dr. Faustus was published in 1604, and its shocking portrayal of witchcraft in association with the devil intensified England's fear of sorcery. Anyway, let me skip. I'm impatient.
funky picture.
Sorry. The cause of the curse. The Macbeth was also seen as unlucky by theater companies, as it usually meant that the theater was in financial trouble. Macbeth was and still is a popular play that was guaranteed an income if it was suddenly announced, could mean that the theater was struggling. Equally, the high production costs to stage the play could also bankrupt the theater, referenced in Martin Harrison's 1998 book, The Language of Theater. So anyway, there's a whole lot of things. This one actress, Diana Wynard, she decided to do a sleepwalking scene with her eyes actually closed, and then she fell into the pit of a stage, fell 15 feet, and thankfully she was not hurt. But this is probably the least harm that has been caused to someone. There was some incidents. I think Peter O'Toole was in some was it Peter O'Toole? Might not have been. There was a performance in which like an actor almost got crushed by a stage light that fell during a production. There was someone that actually accidentally had their throat cut really badly. There was like one of the first, not first, but there was a performance there have been performances of Macbeth where people have actually died. You know,
Oh my god.
so we have we have precedent, and we have the fun games that come about with this scare, this superstition, where if you say the name Macbeth not in its proper context, you usually have to do something kind of crazy, like you have to.
You said it.
No, but we're. I know. What I will do is I will run out of my house now. I will spin around 3 times, and I will spit. Okay, and that will scare away all of the witches. All
Don't
right.
say break a leg. Don't say it.
No, you do say break a leg.
Oh, you do say break a
Yeah,
leg.
you
okay.
don't say good luck.
Ah, right, gotcha.
And the reason being that to break a leg is referring to like old backdrops from like ancient days of theater. So there were backdrops that would be kind of rolled around or whichever, like to denote a scene change and everything.
Right.
So the idea is that this play is going so quickly, as so on the ball, that the pacing is so tight that it's because you're performing well, that the machines actually break while you're performing.
Oh, I see. That's fascinating.
Yeah, so thankfully there's a pleasant context to that one. But I think with like, I don't know why it's necessarily a rude thing to say good luck. That just seems more like someone being snobbish, I guess. You know, I think anyone that's
Could be a
reasonable.
jinx, I guess.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe maybe they just don't like their performance being attributed to luck. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can see that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you do spend a lot of time analyzing text and then trying to actually get the performance right and everything. So I can kind of understand that, but still.
Mhm.
From the professor, but don't you know, all the smart college kids say these days he was secretly a black woman. I hear all kinds of bizarre, crazy theories about Shakespeare. It does not surprise me. I know you're joking. I know the professor's joking, but still, I have heard very bizarre things. Like even it usually comes down to the sonnets as well, or whatever, or the fact that he wrote good female characters is enough for people to get really suspicious. So he just wrote some good female characters, and people believe that is so unlikely for a male writer to accomplish, that they just think he was either a woman or he was gay, because how could a straight male understand how a woman feels? So sometimes that comes
Yeah,
up.
I mean, when you take a look at the state of modern writing, there might be some. I can see why there might be some suspicion, but then I think a lot of, well, it's not really the writer's fault. I think it's the producers really interfering and muddying up the artistic integrity of movies and stuff.
Well, it depends, man.
Does it?
These days we're in a different kind of issue. So what there's this thing in terms of just theater. There's this thing that David Mamet would call constructivism, I guess. And basically, it basically, just to boil it down as best I can, the roots of the only thing that's kind of progressing in entertainment right now is certain technical achievements. Certain, like
Yeah.
in theater specifically, it's just what technically impressive thing can you do with a set, etc. And that's I think in movies too, and in animation as well, to some extent. But more and more, there's a degree of ideology that's artificial, that's a bit inhuman or not appreciative of enough of human nature, that is slipping into design elements as well. So you have things like Pixar's diluted artistic vision coming out with their character designs and such. And the way that kind of affects things, you have, I think the writers more and more are functioning, and it's a mix of both. I think there are ideologues in every section of entertainment, and they're all arguing with each other. But I
Yeah, that's
don't,
very much the case as well, I think.
yeah, I don't think there's a reason to give writers too much benefit of the doubt about what kinds of things they want to work on, what kind of stories they want to tell, because it quite likely has that ideological bent. And we can see producers interfere with the work because it won't sell. That does happen, but a lot of times it's not rooted. It's not necessarily rooted in their ideology of why they want to mess with a story or change it. It's like what I don't know. There are different kinds of examples. I was thinking of Dragon Ball, I guess, as an example, is that Toriyama had very specific ideas, and usually his charm still kind of comes through with anything that he wrote or everything. But a lot of things that we like about Dragon Ball are things that were actually mandated by the producers.
Oh, I see.
So things like certain characters coming back or being involved at all were things that were or recommendations from editors that he do. So like I think people have their different opinions about, say, certain later arcs when Toriyama got more control of, say, Dragon Ball Z. Like the Buu arc is, from what I understand, is purported to be like his main vision. Like mostly influenced by his creative direction. But I kind of think it's also generally the consensus that before Boo was more palatable. And
Yeah.
those were the times that had the most editorial intervention. Like the
I think I heard that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I heard that the tournament thing, like the tournament arcs at Dragon Ball Z, that Dragon Ball Z went through sometimes, was like the idea of the producers. I thought I heard.
I think there were a couple things or whatever, but from what I understand, it's like, well, sorry, I'm getting lost in the weeds there with details. But I think of things like certain character designs or whatever, or continuity. Some characters' designs changed radically in Dragon Ball when they decided to come up again. And I guess there are interviews where Toriyama says he doesn't care much about color for design.
Popo.
He kind of forgets about that. So, and Popo's a weird case. Because now, oddly enough, there's like been a retcon with Dragon Ball lore where anyone with pointy ears is from the demon realm. And
Okay.
And when I grew up, I was already under the impression that Mr. Popo wasn't human, because I was already aware by that point with all the filler content that there were like dog people, there were like non-humans on this world. So to me, it wasn't even offensive. It wasn't offensive. There wasn't a context in which the character was belittled. He just had an odd appearance, and he was like an alien character. And also, he kind of was the character that revealed a spaceship to the protagonists that they would use in the following arc. So my assumption as a kid was just that he was an alien of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I didn't draw any connotations to any real life caricatures. To me, he just was like a kind of weird genie man or creature or demon or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, there's just some crazy person that creates an issue out of it all that doesn't need to be.
But, the terminally offended. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's go into the monologues a bit. So, what we got here is the monologue that you chose. It is this a dagger I see before me monologue? This is Act 2, Scene 1 of Macbeth. And do you know anything about the context of the scene?
Oh God, it's been a while. I remember really loving this scene. This doesn't take place after the assassination? Isn't this him contemplating the assassination?
Yes, there's a lot of build up to the actual murder that occurs, and this is a scene before he actually does it and everything. There's this meeting that he has with his friend, who is the only other person that bore witness to the witches and everything. So he's just kind of confiding with him beforehand. Let me pull it up in my text for a second. But He's talking. He's talking with Banquo, so he's talking with his friend right now,
Yep.
basically. And as soon as Banquo leaves, there is this illusion that occurs. Different theaters choose different things. So sometimes this is just something that's happening in his mind, and sometimes it's a witch that's directly manipulating his perceptions. So they'll have like a witch in the background that is casting a spell and creating the illusion of the dagger, etc. But the primary context, I guess, that matters here is that Macbeth is a noble person. He is a soldier. He is actually relatively a kind-hearted individual, and he's generally an honorable man. He has just won an amazing battle, and they have basically defeated an enemy wholesale. And Macbeth was the hero of the battle. So he's been given a prophecy by some witches that he'll be given a certain promotion and then become the king and everything. But in order to get that final promotion that he's promised would require an assassination of the king. Or not necessarily an assassination, but...
will move.
So... sorry, I wanted to scan just a second. So Macbeth has talked with his wife about everything. He's...
Lady Macbeth.
Yes, the lady. And she has already kind of given her consent to the plan. And they're going to have the king over as a guest in their home. And then they're going to kill him in his sleep. And effectively, they're going to blame it on someone else or whatever they're going to do. They're going to try their best to get away with it, with their plan. But he's going to stab him, effectively. So the knife that he is seeing is like theoretically the knife that he would use. Now, in terms of his state of mind, though, since the moment that Macbeth is given the prophecy by the witches, he is no longer sleeping. So the duration of the play is over a period of time in which Macbeth has not been able to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
He is gradually going more insane because of how sleep deprived he is. And so he is not too far gone right now. He's still generally in his right mind. And even after this, he will have a bit of doubt where Macbeth the lady has to kind of get him to commit to it. So after this monologue, he will eventually say, like, no, we shouldn't do this. It's a bad idea. But he will effectively... Sorry, but this is like a sign of what's to come, this whole monologue. Mm-hmm. So he's of the madness that is going to capture him and basically send him to hell.
Just quickly going back to what you said about one theatre kind of thinking, kind of like meddling with things and kind of portraying that it would be one of the witches interfering with his thoughts. I really don't like that. I like the idea that this is his genuine consciousness at play here, and there's an internal conflict in him mentally.
Yeah, that'll be good. It's good to have an idea that you want for the character and to give it a go. We've been chatting for about an hour, so we might as well actually get into the actual meat of the stream, as it were. Mm-hmm. So why don't we start with the green text? Now this text I got from poetryfoundation.org. I can't speak to the quality of the placement of punctuation, but I don't want to give any context for how punctuation normally affects the way you speak. So I kind of just want you to give it a go and read through it. You can perform it however you want, but I just want a sense of how it sounds coming out of it with like no prep and with as little context as I've given. Is that all right?
That is no problem. What's my motivation? So I had to throw that in there.
Well, we'll break it down, but right now just give it like as blank an interpretation as you can, or do anything you need to relax. If you need to jog in place for a little bit, that's okay. If you need to do some vocal warm-ups, we can do that. You can do some trills. Can you can you do that thing? Can you do patters with your lips and all that? All right, can you do
Yeah.
that with your tongue? Can you do trills? All right, now I need you to do that, but you need to do it with going up and down in pitch. So you can go. There you go. You're almost there. All right, I need you to go. Buttica, 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 buttica. No, we're not done yet. No, you're gonna do vertigo, 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 vertigo. All right, soldier. It's time. I want you to give this a go. Rate it.
You made me more nervous. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna read a little bit ahead. I'm just gonna get a sense of what he'll be thinking at this time.
Coward.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling us to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable, as this which now I draw. Thou marshalest me the way while I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools o'er the other senses, or else worth all the rest, I see thee still. And on my blade, and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There was no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs us to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse a curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarumed by his sentinel the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design, moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear the very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whilst I fret, he lives, words to the heat of deeds, too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a now that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, how did you feel about it?
That's good. God, we don't see writing like that anymore. I bloody love that. Love that passage. That was good. That was fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. So let's go and start fiddling with things now, okay?
Okay.
So I want to manipulate certain things that you perceive here. So
Okay.
have you ever heard of the punctuation dance?
I haven't. No.
Okay. So this is a device that we use when learning Shakespeare generally. So it gives us a very fundamental understanding of how it's done, because the punctuation now this is not the folio, of course, but the punctuation in the folios is consistent. And the way that it was written had to be consistent because of how little information the actors actually had in performances. Actors only ever had scrolls that had their own lines and their cue line. They never had the full context of everything else that was in the play. So even the way that it was written sometimes denoted what gestures they should be using while on stage. And they had to be acting a lot. They had to memorize a lot of material, but they only had their own scrolls. So they learned quickly, and they had clear instructions in the writing for how some fundamental way for them to perform. And they also had talks with Shakespeare, who instructed them on like things about the characters, etc. So what we'll go over is just the bits of punctuation that you'll come across, and I want that to kind of affect the way that you approach the performance a little bit. So when you have something that is a comma, that is a bit of a rise in pitch. That is, you're going to have the normal pause that you have, but you're going to go a bit up. And when you have a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point, that is a down pitch. So
Right.
you're going to have an end stop on the downbeat. If it's a question mark, I'm not going to be upset if you go up in pitch for that either. It's all good. But just consider that it doesn't have to feel the same as a comma. When you have a colon, I'm not sure there are any colons here, but if there's a colon, then it's going to be like a reframing of what you're looking at. So if you were walking, then you might do like a sidestep, and whatever you're looking at, you have a new frame of reference. So I kind of said of this like a turn before, but that's more like if there was a dash or something. But I just want you to think of like you are reframing this thing. I think that's a bit what we do today still with colons and everything. But
Right.
you have a new perspective and you were approaching like a different topic or a different idea there. If you're doing a semicolon, then it's kind of like a lean where you have have that gentle pause, but everything after the semicolon, you have a little burst of speed. You pick up into the next thought with a bit more haste. Not necessarily the
Right.
whole thing, but like the beginning of it is like a little jump forward. And when you go to the end of a line, if there's no punctuation, I want you to err on the side of just continuing immediately into the next line.
Okay.
So that is what that's called is enjambment with poetry. So this is all that means is that you are basically jamming two lines together as though they're a sentence. So
Right.
the game of poetry is you write by a certain structure and you see if you can make something coherent out of those rules that are imposed on your writing. So he has blank verse and everything, but still there's enough of these lines where you have the opportunity to see what it feels like if you just roll into the next line and give that a shot. That said, if there is a point where it feels like there's a natural pause or you just need a pause, it's okay. You can do that.
Okay.
You can just trust yourself. But there's a but anyway, you can kind of explore that as you go.
Okay.
There on the other side we can and then after I want you to do like a read of that with the green with that in mind, and then we can hop over to the blue text and we can see how like the different emphases, the way it's written there from the folio, changes things more. All right?
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right, man.
no problem.
All right.
So yeah, so when you for example, when there's a comma and it goes higher in pitch, so I take it that's like is it kind of like the last word would go higher in pitch as I end it? So like in the first line, for example, would it be like me? Kind of like the me would get higher in pitch?
Yes.
Okay. Right, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Any other questions? Like anything about the content of what he's saying? So you know who Hecate is, right? So
Was
Greek
Hecate like a
goddess.
Greek god, right?
Yeah, Greek goddess,
Yeah.
and let's just say her domain is like the household. So he's referring
Ah,
to the crime he's about to commit of murdering someone when he's the host. He's going to murder his guest, and
yeah.
there's a bit of reference to just the Greeks and some relationship with the crime he's about to commit and whose authority is over this event.
Right, I see.
And when he talks about Tarquin, do you have any idea who Tarquin is?
That's his friend, is it? No, that's
No,
Duncan.
no. So Tarquin is, so in this case, just you can think of it as a literary or historical figure. But basically, when it's like Tarquin's ravishing strides,
Mm.
Tarquin is a rapist.
Oh, wow, okay.
So the thing that you're going to do has the connotation of like incredibly vile act. And
Oh,
so when you raise the comparison of Tarquin, it's like that's how severe what you're going to do is. The murder that you're going to do is kind of equivalent to
yeah.
the rape that he committed.
I see. Yeah, kind of like the walking around the kind of stride, the what about you of a ghastly, nasty rapist kind of person. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. And when you think about that, I'll answer a couple questions from the professor here. Uh, the professor, does his wife have insomnia as well? Because as I recall, she completely loses it by the end too, right? And I believe that she primarily has a crisis of conscience. It might be that she can't sleep as well, but I think it has a bit more to do with the guilt actually drives her insane.
She can't
Um,
wash the blood off her hands.
right. She starts seeing the spot on her hands, like the crime has marked her and everything. But I think there might be that element of insomnia, but I kind of can't remember. I don't think she has actually insomnia. I think that's more Macbeth's thing. That's his curse to bear during this whole thing as he slowly goes more insane. But yeah. Uh, and he says, actually, Phrygian and perhaps archaic Anatolic in general, though their proximity to the Greeks made is oft referred by the Greeks. Tarquinius was a Roman king. But basically, yeah, he's a rapist, and that's kind of what matters for the context of this. Anyway, all right, ready to give it a go?
Ready to give it a go. Okay. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle towards my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or question marks. What is it again? Is it higher, lower? Lower, isn't it?
I really just want you to pick one.
Okay.
So I think
Lower.
it'll be more natural for you if you go up in pitch, because I think we generally
It's
do
more.
when we ask questions. So go ahead
Yeah,
and
it's more natural to
let
go
that
up a
go.
bit.
Go ahead and let that go up in pitch, but it's not necessarily a stop. So
Okay.
just, you can let yourself have the pause. Treat it like a comma, but it's a very specific kind of comma. All right.
Yeah, it feels really unnatural to do that in the lower. But if it's the proper way though to do it to get lower doing that, then I want to do it the proper way.
Yeah, I think we generally get told that, and people usually stumble on this. But think of it as like you're going up, I guess, but not as much, like halfway.
Sure thing. Yeah,
If that
I'm sound
helps.
like
I
I'm.
mean, just give it a go. Give it a read as going up, and we'll see if we need to adjust it later. It'll be good.
I like the comment. It sounds like I'm flirting with the dagger. Well, I am British. We have an affinity for daggers.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Give it a go.
All right. Okay. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools o'er the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade undudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm said earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the present horror from the time which now suits it with it. Whiles I fret, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a now that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. It's really difficult, you know. I'm struggling to just read
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
let
don't
alone do
worry.
the
Don't worry.
adjustments. Yeah.
We all start somewhere, and we're always fumbling in the dark as we try to figure it out. But once we get it, it's just beautiful. So don't worry, man. Let's go to the blue text. All right.
Alrighty.
So let's. What kind of learner are you again? Visual, audio, physical?
Visual normally, I think.
Okay. Let's start plotting out then what your visual environment is. And let's have an idea of what kind of things you're seeing as you're saying these words.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So right now, I want you to imagine that you are in a spooky forest. This is a place that you know, but at the same time, it is familiar yet unfamiliar.
Right.
Because you know that there are terrifying things that lurk in the dark. And you have just encountered the presence of witches not too long ago. You know that there are unearthly things at work. But furthermore, as you're here, you are both the owner of these lands, and yet the act that you are doing makes you feel alien to them. This is, in a way, not a place where a killer should be. You're in your own backyard doing something that is not in your character. It is not you. What you want, like what you are thinking of doing, is a betrayal of yourself, as well as a betrayal of your king. And you have waved off your friend, your assurance during this time, in this environment. Welcome, Himawari Kotetsu. Yes, he's doing fine. And now you are alone again. And in that way, in being alone again, you are, in a way, in danger again. And you already have your own weapons. So you're safe enough with those, I'm sure. But what you have now is a new weapon, the opportunity, the risk you're going to take, made palpable in front of you, made visible now. And it represents everything that you're going to do and the vile deed you're going to commit. So that dagger that's in front of you is like a floating object that should not be there. And when you say, "Let me clutch thee," you are reaching out to that dagger. You are trying to grasp it, and your hand goes through. And it's the first time in your life where your senses have failed you in such a way. You are a warrior, and your senses have been key to you winning incredible battles. And you've never had an illusion like this before. This is a new and scary thing that you have. And yet, you're curious for what it means and what it represents. And you're starting to mull it over and think, are thou just me imagining these things because I've been in this terrible heat? Or, well, it's not really that hot, to be honest, but am I just too worked up? Am I just seeing things? But you're still there. The vision is persisting, even if you question it. And that makes you believe in it more. Right. And then you even draw your own dagger to compare it to, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. This thing. You pull your own knife out. You have it here as an example. You're not necessarily reaching out to that dagger yet, but this thing, thou marshallest me the way that I was going. You look to your castle on the top of the hill. and such an instrument I was to use, mine eyes are made fools of the other senses. Basically, you're aware of all this terror around you. You're aware of the supernatural, the natural, but your eyes are now lying to you. There's danger in the world, and you are about to do something that is beyond your normal imagination. Or else worth all the rest, and there's that comparison of what you're seeing might indeed be more true than the rest of your senses. It's not just that it's an illusion, but it is actually a prophecy of what you're going to do. I see thee still, that re-emphasis. I see thee still, and what does that mean to you? What this image of that dagger is not just a dagger, it is a dagger that has been used. It's the prophecy of what you're going to use this dagger for, this imaginary blade. And on the blade and dudgeon, it's just the anatomy of the blade, but there are gouts of blood. There is gore and blood on this knife that you know will be the one you use to kill Duncan. The thing is evolving in front of you. It's a terrifying prophecy, and a dread one. There's no such thing. You reassert this is not real. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. You are just thinking too much about the thing you dread to do. But now everything, the whole half world, everything around you seems to be fake. It seems to be unnatural. It is not normal for you to be here plotting such a wicked thing in which dreams abuse, the curtains sleep. You're having nightmares about these thoughts. You know what you're going to do, and you are not even allowed to sleep right now. It'll get a lot worse than this. But right now, you just know that you've had at least one nightmare that's woken you up prematurely. And the witchcrafts, thinking of the actual witches, celebrate pale Hecate's offerings and withered murder. And think of murder like a person. Murder is an entity, and the Greek god itself an entity. You think of them as some far-off things. You just know they're your awareness. They are in the woods, looking at you, judging what you are about to do. Those things, those immortal beings, judging the crime you're about to commit. And withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, alert because his sentinel is the wolf, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, who howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace. And you are likening yourself to death. You are mimicking the behavior of death, who is as dangerous as Tarquin, someone that in your mind would have the most evil of reputations, something so horrible, what he did. Tarquin's ravishing strides. You are going to go and do something so evil and gleefully do it, almost. What you're thinking of doing, the ambition itself is exciting, and it to you makes you feel like you are one of the most evil people that did such a vile deed for his own pleasure and his own gain, and you are about to do something like that, which is itself disgusting, but you still in a way feel that excitement. And towards his design moves like a ghost, just re-emphasizing the unearthly, unnatural thing that you're doing. And this sour and firm set earth here not, thou sour and sure, it's not sour, but it's sure. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps. So you're just, everything is alive around you, and even the earth itself you are personifying. Don't hear me step which way they walk, for fear the very stones prate of my whereabouts. Even the very earth itself will betray you as you try to commit this horrible deed. The thing you're doing is that dangerous. And you are doing a crime against nature in a way. And take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. You are afraid of this, and you are begging the universe to take your fear away. But then, of course, while you prattle on, while you talk about all these things that bother you, while you talk about all the things you're feeling, he's still alive, and the deed needs to be done. And that's basically what you're saying with words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. Your words are nothing without their action. You need to do it. The bell is ringing now, and you go, and it'll be done. It's that simple. The bell invites you. It is time. And as you look to your home in the distance, that's where you need to go. And you remark briefly on what you're about to do. And hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell. And you can make that comparison, if you like, of the image in your mind of where's he going to go? Is he going to go to heaven up high? Or is he going to go to hell, where you almost surely will go? And you can, I'm going to give you the choice. You can read the blue text or you can read the green.
Okay. Let's try with the blue text this time.
All right, man. I'll stop prattling and let you go. Here we go, man.
Okay. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling, as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of other senses, or else wherefore the rest? I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There is no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs us to mine eyes. Now the one half-willed nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse a curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered Merva, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing sides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou
Sure.
Thou sure and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which they may walk, for fear. Thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time, which now suits with it. Whiles I fret, he lives. Word to the heat of deeds, too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a now that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Very fun. Very fun.
Thank you, thank you. Very fun.
And you'll see the difference of the punctuation affecting that. So now that last line that summons thee to heaven or to hell, the comma that's in the folio just allows you to draw that comparison between the two, and it makes it sound better. And so Poetry
Yeah.
Foundation thought they had a better read of not including the comma there. And you see just how that one change removed the comparison, it removed the emphasis.
It does, exactly. I kind of did it naturally in the green one anyway, because it seemed weird not to, with the juxtaposition between heaven and hell, to not do a dramatic pause to finish off the or to
Right.
hell.
Yeah, exactly. Now we got another little guide that's here. So everything that's capitalized is the thing that you'll want to emphasize more.
Right.
So you'll spit those words out, or you'll chew them. So to say those things means something to you. And you generally need to find what that means to you, what that value is of the thing. But finding that emphasis allows you to structure the lines in a more specific way. So the thing that you're the things that you're processing, we have to communicate to the audience what they mean to us as well as we can. So right now, it's more just saying that I'm saying that I want to see the suggestion that there is something there, and I don't necessarily need to know what it is. But the more specific idea someone has of what they're feeling and what they're thinking about, the more clear it is. So we have a couple things I wanted to suggest as well. So if we do the question marks, all right, let's make that a downbeat, okay?
Okay.
And emphasize anything that's capitalized if there is like heat oppressed brain. Do oppressed, not oppressed. So
Oppressive.
yes.
Yep.
We'll find the rhythm. So I don't need to distract you too much with scansion or anything. But in blank verse, there is still the existence of iambic pentameter, etc. And there's a rhythm to the dialogue that is naturally spoken. Is this a dagger which I see before me? Things like that.
Right.
And that's just like, effectively, that's just the keeping in account the rhythm of the heart. And they're usually like not all the time, it depends on the play or even to the character. But sometimes it's like there are 5 beats in a line, etc. And you kind of need to know where those beats naturally would be.
Right.
Yeah, no judgment or to make you feel self-conscious, but you can play and see what you find.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Any thoughts, questions, or concerns?
No, I'm good to go. Good to go.
All right. Let's give it a go. I want you to have a slightly different frame of mind or like a tactic in mind almost. So when you start reading, what was the way you were feeling before?
Just mostly self-consciousness at the moment.
Yeah, sorry. Well, don't let it. It's not enough for me to say. Just don't let it eat at you, or don't worry about it. But everything that you do is just an experiment right now. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be
I think,
perfect. So
yeah, I think at the moment it's kind of just I'm starting to get used to the actual passage itself
yeah,
in terms of what to expect. So that helps kind of beforehand knowing what kind of speed and how I should deliver the lines. But that's basically the main thing at the moment. Is it's like, right,
yeah.
how do I, like, what's the like the rhythm, right? Like, how do should I be going faster, quicker, pausing, that kind of thing, I guess. Like, how do I sound natural and deliver it the way that it's intended in the play?
Yeah. Do you want to? Well, I think I'd rather just hear you go at it again. And I want to give you the
Okay.
assurance that you're improving every time that you do this. Like you are evolving as you're going, so you don't need to worry too much. With all this, I mean, actors spend like whole months learning the characters and lines and everything. So there's no expectation of something being perfect or good enough. There's no good enough here to reach necessarily, but we're just seeing how things evolve as you keep different things in mind as you're exploring the text and as you relax with it. Things will kind
Yeah,
of evolve.
exactly.
So yeah, just let that sit.
Yeah,
And
I think that's the big thing at the moment. Is it's like I'm focusing on trying to remember how to speak with the punctuation. So that's kind of like I'm concentrating on that, which takes the natural flow
yeah,
out a little bit. But then at the same time, as I'm reading it, I was kind of like, again, going back to my own personal habits. It's like, oh, I wouldn't deliver it necessarily in that way, that line, if
right.
I were to read it, right?
Yeah. All right. Keeping in mind the new emphasis. Give it another go. And I want you to have some feeling of befuddlement. I don't want you necessarily to try to feel a certain way, but I want seeing that illusion. I want that illusion to mean something to you. Like, what is
Mhm.
that? What is the implication of it? So it's not like necessarily a curious thing. That's sort of what I'm getting right now. So it seems almost a little too whimsical, almost like a fun discovery. It's more like
Right.
this is a daunting, something's unsettling. So, like, I don't know. You imagine you go to the kitchen and there's like a cell phone in your home that's not yours, and you don't know who it belongs to, but there's an implication that someone was in your room, you know?
Yeah, gotcha.
Just have some kind of impression like that in mind.
Gotcha.
And go ahead and give it a go. All right?
All right, gotcha. Okay. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible, to feeling, as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable, as to which now I draw. Thou marshest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dungeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs us to mine eyes. Now the one half world, nature, seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse a curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered Merva, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing sides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which they may walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whilst I fret, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go now, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a now that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
We got a couple things. So, and what I want to do is kind of change it up a little bit more radically.
Right.
Let's, there are a couple of things I think are still adjustments that are not being made, but I think I just want to set them aside for now. So,
Okay.
like, certain downbeats are not being done, and certain enjambments are not there. So when
Gotcha.
there's not a punctuation at the end of a line, I want you to just go on through to the next one.
Yep.
Um, but but it's still fun to see it evolve. Now, I think in the beginning, it's starting out like a it's starting out a bit whimsical and a bit a bit lighthearted about the whole thing. Whereas, but I'm also seeing that evolve. Like your temper is getting more serious as it goes on, and I kind of like that there's an evolution there. It's just that
Gotcha.
the emphasis isn't quite selling it. So it's like it's a curious thing, the illusion and everything, um, but it's not necessarily a happy thing. It's just more. It's kind of odd, and you're tired, and you're kind
Right.
of commenting on how odd and funny this is while you're exhausted. But
Right.
it's all right. Have you ever played with accents before?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Well, why don't we try it? Why don't we be really silly? Okay. And why don't we?
Okay.
Well, let's make it a little bit more fun. And I'm sorry if it's a little boring or anything. Well, if you want to move on to something else for a bit, we can. But
No, I'm
I kind of want to
happy
see
with everything
what
so far. Yeah.
I kind of want to see what it feels like when you say it with a different accent or like a different character or an impression. Put yourself
Okay.
in someone else's shoes. Get out of your own head for a second.
Okay.
Goof off. Have fun. Be silly. Bigger the better. I want you to just goof off and go crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, is there anyone you want to pick ahead of time, or let me know what you want to emulate, or whichever?
There's no one in particular. No, I mean I
No
don't mind.
actor you wish you were, or something very silly.
There's
Gonna
loads of
do a
actors like
Sean
that.
Connery
Yeah.
impression or something.
Oh, you know what? Let's do a Sean Connery reading of it. Okay.
Yeah, man, go for it. But let's hear Lord Maulington as Sean Connery as
Or what is it?
Macbeth.
As Macbeth. It fits because he's Scottish. Yeah.
I'll give it a go.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle towards my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Are they not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet in form as palpable, as to which now I draw. Thou marshest me the way I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs us to mine eyes. Now the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing sides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou suit and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it, whiles I fret. He lives, words to the heat of deeds, too cold, breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now that was so fun. Now it sounded like a lot of slurring.
A
But
lot of slurring. Yeah.
oh yeah, but at the same time, the rhythm was improving. You know,
Okay.
and
Good.
it's
Good.
just from relaxing. That's the thing. Whenever we act, we usually, as we analyze texts and all that, we usually think of some kind of, if we're getting heady about it,
Hmm.
then we're going to think of certain actions or tactics that we apply to a line. In this moment, I'm doing this action. I am an actor, so I am doing things. There's an action I'm taking as I'm saying these words. But it's not always just, say, a literal thing. There's an essential thing. But as we
Yep.
choose actions, we have to choose things that are fun, that are resonant with us, that compel us. So, when people go out in their day or something, they're not usually saying in their brain, I shall make waffles, therefore I will make waffles. They do not
Yep.
say, I like the taste of blueberry compote, therefore I will make blueberry compote. But they have an impression, and that's the thing they recognize, and they go do that action or whatever if they direct themselves. But it's not always articulate. So everything that we do, all that thinking that we do, is just so we can integrate something into our muscle memory, so that when we're relaxing and we're listening, when we do a play, we're engaged, but 90% of it is listening to our
Hmm.
environment, the given circumstances of the play, our fellow actors on stage. And so a lot of it is just relaxing and allowing the muscle memory to take hold and follow through with just a little bit, enough awareness to know if we're speaking articulately or if we're speaking loud enough or if we're
Mm.
looking in the right direction. If we're very technically, but it's such a subtle awareness of everything that we do.
Gotcha.
Uh, so anytime I stop or I start rambling on about this stuff, it's not a criticism.
Oh no, of course, no, don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah,
No, it's fine.
yeah, yeah. It's just uh, an aspect of what overall the goal is to reach. But when
Hmm.
you had in mind to play as a character, to be someone else or or be Sean Connery, regardless of, say, enunciation or pronunciation of things, like you were more relaxed as you were playing a character, and then even some of the rhythms of the lines were becoming more natural because you were just focusing on that, or at least I assume that your mind was more on being that character than on, say, the reading and doing a specific sound or whichever. But the
Exactly.
rhythms
Yeah.
themselves were becoming more natural because you were following a little bit more of instinct. But you were doing something that was compelling or more fun for the thing. So when we act, we try to find what is fun and enjoyable about these words,
Yeah.
when we say them. So that was a really cool adjustment for going in there.
That
Uh,
makes sense. Yeah, I think when I'm kind of going through it, it's like I can see like why actors need to spend a lot of time obviously memorizing the text and but also analyzing the character because I guess my kind of the thing that's stopping me, I guess, from getting really loose with it is it's like well, in the first instance, it's like, right, I need to understand what's actually being said, and then I need to consider what kind of emotional state and how they would say it. So, kind of at the moment, I'm not quite there yet where I'm reading parts of the text, and I'm like, so is he angry here? Is he going through distress? Like, what emotion is he feeling right now?
yeah, yeah. There's another thing that we do. Um, I mean, it depends on where you get taught and all, but there are things called as ifs, and basically it's our only frame of reference for whatever we're talking about or doing on the stage. So we compare whatever we're doing to
Mm,
something else that we're encountering, and then if that comparison is strong enough in our head, we have a relationship between what we're doing on stage and what that means to us in real life, or as close as we can get to the
right.
emphasis of it. So
Yep.
we can break it down a little bit, and we can see what things we're going to compare this to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
So let's go. Do you want to do line by line, or are there just a couple of ones you want to focus on primarily?
Line by line. That sounds good.
Let's
Yeah.
do. Let's do. So, so I think I'll try to guide, but I think you should make the choices on what they mean to you because it should be your choice.
Okay.
But is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle towards my hand. What does that? What does it mean to you? What is it? What is it comparable to you?
I would say, well, it's like surprise and confusion at seeing the illusion. You can't quite believe what he's seeing. It's the handle toward my hand is what I guess I struggle to really comprehend what the insinuation towards that is. I guess.
Well, so the opportunity is before you, as in this thing is suddenly here, and the handle is toward your hand. Is the handle is pointing towards you, not the blade. So it's not something not something that is threatening you, but the
That's
handle
an
toward my hand.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, it's an opportunity, but it's also like, was this thing left for me? Did someone leave this here for me? Have you ever had a situation where I don't know maybe someone you live with or some friend stopped by, and then they left like a bag of candy or something. Someone left a chocolate bar for you. Did someone leave a chocolate bar here
Right.
for me with like the
Yeah.
wrapper just a little bit open? Did they want me to take this? So that's a goofy example, but I don't know if you've ever had a situation like that. Is this a thing?
Unfortunately,
Was
not.
this
But I
a
can
thing?
imagine it though.
So is this? Wait, did someone leave a weapon here for me? Did someone leave this here for me? So right now, it's just a plain dagger. You don't see any blood on it, and it looks like it's oriented in a way for you to reach to grab for. So is this for me? That's kind of the thought.
Yep. Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, okay. But come, let me clutch thee. You can do about this either way. We can be like, come, let me clutch thee, as in like, come, let me clutch thee. This is a mysterious thing, or it might just be, or hell, you could do it however you want. You could be like, well, let me see. Is this for me? Oh, here, let me take a look at it. Oh, I think I
Gotcha.
want to know. I want to know if this was for me. Someone leave a note. I'm gonna take a look here. Hey, there's a chocolate bar here in the woods. I mean, I think if someone left it here, I think it's up for grabs. This is for me. All right. All right, I'm gonna
Okay.
stab the king to death with this chocolate bar, you know? But you reach out for it and it's gone. It's like, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? Did my did my hand just go through this? Or hold on, are you not real? Is that not real? Did my hand? Did I just reach out and not grab this? I just tried to reach out and grab this thing? My hand just went through it. What just happened there? Or did I seriously just miss the chocolate bar I was grabbing for? Did I fucking just grab out, try to reach something I wanted, and my hand just like went through it, or like I didn't reach it even though I could see it? Like, what the heck is wrong with me? Or
Gotcha. Yep.
but it's like, it's not just that. It's like, oh, am I such an idiot that I didn't grab this thing? I'm sorry for swearing earlier, but but
It's okay.
am I an idiot, or is this not real? There's a change there. That's why the question mark is in the middle of the line. It's like, are you
Ah, I
not like
see.
what? Are you not real, or like, wait, are you something different? Or is there something wrong here? Is that chocolate bar? Is that knife just a hallucination? Am I actually like really out of it? Did I really just not sleep? Like my nightmares? Or am I still dreaming right now? What the heck? Or whatever.
See, I get it. Yeah, I guess it's like again a part of the acting. Then it's like I understand. Okay, I get the assignment, but now I'm trying to think how do I actually say it now without sounding
We'll just try.
whimsical?
Just try those lines. Just try those lines. Let's just go up to the heat oppressed brain.
Heat oppressive brain. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision? sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain?
So let's do
I
one.
press it.
Yeah, yeah. But let's change a couple of things. So
Yep.
don't worry too much about going up in pitch with the commas. It's too emphasized right now.
Okay.
So right now it's the emphasis is too much and it's creating like a different feeling. I kind of just
Mhm.
want that. It's more important that there's like that pause or consideration of something. But it's like
Yeah, you know,
that going up in pitch helps create that. But right now, I think it's just a little bit too much.
yeah, I think if I, just try to speak naturally first and then refine
Yeah,
maybe the way I'm doing it, because at the moment I'm concentrating too much on the punctuation
yeah.
and
I don't
not
want you to worry
the
too much.
delivery.
Like that. That tool is just meant to help. And if it stops helping, then you need to get it out of the way.
Okay.
Uh, but but in the same vein, I think it is okay if the question mark is more of a downbeat, or if it's
Yeah.
something like it's a consideration, but it's a serious consideration. If that helps draw a distinction.
That does actually help a little bit, actually. Yeah.
Okay. And that let's go on to the next set. So I still I still see it. Its form as palpable as this which now I draw. It's like there's a that thing I see that I couldn't grab. It's still there. It looks real. How'd I miss it? It's like, but the thing is there. It looks just like that phone right there. It looks like the one that I can pull out in my pocket right now. I'm holding my phone right now. I couldn't grab that thing. What the heck? Uh, my hand just went through that thing, but this one is fine. This one is real. That one's not. What is this? Um, so let's then, but then it's like, oh, this is telling me something. You have the question before, and now you're going to start interpreting the meaning. So it's like, oh, so you're here to tell me something. You're here to push me on, like whether you're real or not. You're here to push me to commit the murder.
Oh, I just want to say as well, actually, going through it line by line like this is actually really helping me understand it as well now. Because I'm reading it line by line, I'm like, "Oh, I see. Okay."
Yeah, yeah. So there's that change again. It's like, you want me to go commit the murder. That's why you're here.
Mm.
Such an you look like that because that's what I would be using. You look like a knife. You illusion, you thing. You look like a knife because that's what I'm going to use to kill him. My such an instrument I was to use. That's it is. It's like, and then there's a bit of the feeling back on yourself. Like mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. My eyes are either being tricked by everything around me, or they are the most aware. So there's a bit of antithesis there, which is just like a comparing of opposites. But still, um, you were just saying like either my eyes are tricking me, or my eyes are the only sense of mine that's actually paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing. Either I'm seeing things because I'm being fooled, or I'm seeing things because my eyes are telling the rest of me to catch up. Uh, kind of like that, if that helps.
Mhm. Yep.
And then it's back to that reframe of I still see it. I still see it. This thing. Now, even though that I know what it is, I still see it. This illusion is still there. And not only that, but now it's bleeding. It's changed. This thing is still there, and now it's got blood on it, which wasn't there before. And that's kind of like, I was right, wasn't I? This is an illusion telling me to go commit the murder. This thing, it just changed. When I brought this up, there was some reason for it, and I thought about it. It changed. Therefore, I'm on the right track. I think I'm figuring it out. But there's no such thing asserting it's just an illusion. It's because it is the bloody business. It's because I'm planning a murder of all things. It's because I'm going to do this thing which made this illusion. It's coming back into trying to reason yourself. Kind of like, you know?
Gotcha.
All right, so let's just do like those lines then. So I see thee yet, in form as palpable. And then
I
go
see.
to and then
Yep.
go to thus to mine eyes. Okay?
Do mine eyes. Yep. Okay. Gotcha.
So you're going to stop halfway through a line, but it's fine.
Yep. Okay. I see thee yet, in form as palpable. Let me try that again. I see thee yet, in form as palpable, as to this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs us to mine eyes.
So let's remove that extra affect that you're trying to add. And let's divorce ourselves a little bit from the character, okay?
Okay,
I want you
gotcha.
to just I want you to relax and think of what it means to you, like the thing you're relating it to. So I think I'm being a little too dramatic with how I'm trying to explain things.
Okay.
But with this, it's like, I see the end. You're still there. And its form is as palpable as this thing in my pocket. You're just as real as this thing. You want me to do this. And because I was going to use something like you. My eyes are either tricking me, or they're the most aware. I still see it. And that blade now and on its dudgeon are gouts of blood. So much that just wasn't there before. There's no such thing. It's just the foul deed in my mind which makes this thing appear before me. That's it.
Okay, gotcha.
So try those transitions or whichever. And then however it goes, we'll move on to the next set of lines.
Okie dokie.
You got it.
I see thee yet, in form as palpable, as to this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs us to mine eyes.
All right.
Now, oh, yep, sorry, there it is, yep.
Go ahead, man. What were you thinking?
No, I
You were
was going to
about to
keep
read.
reading, and I was like,
That's
yeah, I
right.
was like, oh shit,
That's
yep,
right.
that's where it is, yep.
All right, so let's do something different. Let's change tactics a little bit. So I want you to go back to the beginning. I want you to rephrase any of these lines into something that you would say. Okay? I don't want you to use the text, the dialogue. I don't want you to try to be perfect, like perfect Shakespearean actor or whatever. I don't want you to try to step into those shoes. I want you to just rephrase any of these lines like you would say them in a conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just
I
thinking,
want
I
you to
just need to
try,
loosen up more.
yeah, I want you to
Try
try,
reading the original
relax and
text.
just try to understand it in your own language. Put it in your own words. All right? We're not going to worry about special forms and accents and all that, you know. but make it as real to you. So you don't even have to play it as, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this horrible murder or something. I just want you to do it as most natural as possible. Remove everything else. It doesn't matter if your interpretation of the scene is like quote unquote wrong or something. I just want you to put it in your own words.
Good okay.
All right. Begin.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou a dagger of the mind?
I'm going to interrupt.
Yep, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, man. Read the line as it is in Shakespeare, and then rephrase that line in your own language. Am I being clear?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
This is a dagger which I see before me. How would you say that? Not how Shakespeare wrote it. How would you say it? Don't worry about rhythm or iambic pentameter. If you saw a dagger in front of you, what would you say?
This dagger. Yeah, is this a dagger in front of me?
Yeah. And then the next line. Go ahead and read it as Shakespeare and then say it how you would say it.
So yeah, the handle toward my hand, and I would say the handle's pointed up. That's a very odd line to say. The handle's pointing at my hand. It's pointing towards my hand. The handle's facing towards me. Yeah.
Come, let me clutch thee. What would you say?
Come, let me clutch thee.
Yeah. You found something. You're just remarking aloud what you're going to do. What would you say?
Here, let me grab it. Here, let me grab it.
Yeah. The next line. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. What did you say?
I don't have it, but it's still there.
Yeah. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? What would you say?
I've just forgotten now. Kind of struggling to read what it means by art thou not fatal vision. Is that are you not a hallucination, right?
Yeah. Basically. Are you like? Can you be touched? You know, it's like I can see you. You're physically there, right? I can see you. Why can't I grab you?
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
But not my words. What would you say?
Say, are you real? Can I grab you?
Yeah. The next line.
Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation? But yeah, like, are you a hallucination?
You're just a mirage.
A mirage, yeah. Coming from my heat oppressive brain, yeah. Coming from my, I don't know.
Well, sure.
Are you a mirage coming from my weary head, weary brain?
Sure. Yeah, that's good. All right. And then I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw.
You seem just as real as this dagger I've drawn.
Yeah. I mean, you might not even say it like that, right? Like, because this form which now I draw is just the instruction that the writer gave to the actor to draw his knife, you know. But you might not draw your knife in public or whatever, you know. You keep your knife secret, I'm sure. But anyway,
yeah,
England. But anyway, well, yeah, it's just like it's just as real as this, or whatever. So let's do the next.
Okay,
thou marshalst me the way that I was going. And such an instrument I was to use.
You're leading me. You're showing me where to go and an instrument and how I should do it.
Or I guess marshals, think of him as he's a soldier, and you're being compelled to go do the thing you knew you're going to do, right? So it's not like
You're,
they're not exactly that they're leading, but they're spurring you on, right?
yeah, you're telling me kind of like you're in, yeah, leading, I guess is the word really, rather than telling. It's suggesting where what I should be doing,
Yeah, but it's
and
not just
what to use.
suggesting, it's pushing you, right? Marshals,
Encouraging
like the
marshals,
the
yeah,
the emphasis there, the specificity of the word is like you're pushing me to do this or whatever, right?
right.
And you would, sorry, I'm stepping on your toes.
No, it's okay. I don't know. I'd say you're pushing me. You're pushing me to do something. Like you're pushing me to.
So it's like something, a sign, something that appears in front of you. I don't know if you've ever like driven, or you were pondering like, can I get a sign or something I want to do, or what I should do
Mm,
right now, and then a thing just happens to show up, and then you kind of interpret it that way, or it just makes you feel more comfortable with making a choice in a certain way.
yeah, I see.
So it's just encouraging you to do the thing that you want to do because it's the thing you were going to use. You had like a
Yeah.
choice between using a knife or not using a knife. And it just so happens that you spotted a knife in front of you. You're thinking, should I use this knife? Should I not use this knife? Then all of a sudden you see a ghost in the shape of a knife. And it's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I think maybe I'm going to be using this knife.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. I guess I have to use the knife now. That's a lot of murder.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
You're I guess, yeah, so the way you say that then would be you're pushing me to use the knife, I would say particularly then. Or does it even have to be the knife? But
Yeah, it doesn't
just trying
have
to
to
figure the
be.
right wording. Yeah.
You might think it's something silly. I don't know. Uh, you're like, what? Should I watch a VTuber? Should I not watch a VTuber? Oh, this one just popped up. Someone's streaming right now. I didn't realize they were going to be doing that. I guess I better be watching them. And then I'll go commit murder. You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. England, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the next line, like, mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses. So it's not of other senses. It's just of the other.
Of a other. Gotcha.
Of the other. It's a yeah. It's a bit. It's just a fun contraction. But
Oh, is it? Sorry. It's how do you say it again? Sorry.
it's just of the other.
Of a, oh, like just of
Of the,
a other. There's of other.
I mean, you can do it like although their senses, but it's just like we just usually do it like the other.
Of a other.
Yeah. So the way it's done in Poetry Foundation, just across, is perfectly fine for using it like that. Oh, the
Okay.
other
Of a
senses.
other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or is mine worth all the rest?
My eyes are playing tricks on me,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I can see you, but I still see it.
It's kind of like either my eyes are tricking me or everything else is. Basically.
I see. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's slightly different. So it's like, yeah, yeah. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? You're here, but yeah,
Yeah. But you're still there.
you're
That's the
still there.
thing. Yeah. And on thy blade undudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. What does that mean to you? What do you say?
What is a dudgeon?
A dudgeon is just it's a part of the knife.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like think of the handle or the part connecting the grip to the blade.
Yeah.
But
So
I'll pull
well,
up
I
the
guess
specific definition.
what I get from that line is that on this potentially hallucinogenic knife that he's seen, sees a vision of blood and gore, which has just appeared out of nowhere suddenly.
Right, right. But yeah, it's basically just the hilt of the
Just
dagger.
help.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it's more like, well, now I'm curious. And on the blade right there, and on the blade and dudgeon, there's gouts of blood, which weren't there before. There's no such thing. It's the bloody business which informs this into my eyes. I'm sorry, I shouldn't read for you, but that's kind of it.
No, it's okay. I'm just kind of trying to interpret it. So when he says there's no such thing, is that kind of him being in denial of what he's seeing, or is it again kind of like a continuation? He's saying it's not real.
It's you making more of the conclusion because you were asking, is this real or not? And
Mm,
then you make the choice. This isn't real.
yeah, I see. Yeah, so he's kind of refusing to believe what he's seeing, but it is the bloody business which informs us to mine eyes.
It's kind of like not to distract too much, but you're a guy who has lived your whole life by the merits of your own physical deeds, and there's not much to say that there's a reason to believe in the supernatural until the fact that you ran into a couple of witches recently who gave you a prophecy. But
Hmm.
as a man of material success and a man of merit, you still want to see the world through that physical lens, right?
Right.
So you don't want to think you're not going to change your way of thinking entirely. It's kind of like just saying it's not real. It's just false. My eyes are playing tricks because eyes can have tricks played on them. You know, there's not like witchcraft going to help me do this thing or whatever. Or
Right. I
something,
see.
right? This is
I
kind of like a prelude to the madness he'll have later when he kind of thinks he's invincible and all that. But right now, you're still enough in your right mind that you're just saying, "I'm human. I'm a human being. This is not real. I can't use magic for my advantage or something."
I see. So I guess I kind of what he's saying then there's no such thing. It's in the bloody business.
Yeah,
Is
there's no
almost like
such
he's
thing.
saying I only believe in like the physical, the things that are real.
Right.
Maybe.
I'm just stressed because I'm worried about what I got to do.
Mm.
I'm just stressed for my job. I'm just stressed because I agreed to because my wife is telling me to kill a guy.
Ah, I see. Actually, no, I understand the context of the bloody business now. Right, I get it. Yeah, I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I'm saying things. I'm just worried because my lady is not going to fuck me tonight if I don't kill this guy. And I'm
Gotcha.
sorry.
Yeah.
I swear again. I shouldn't. Sorry.
I see. I don't mind. I say far worse. Don't worry.
And that's
Okay.
not really what he would be thinking anyway. I'm just being facetious. But yeah.
Mm. Yep.
But okay. You want to say those? You want to keep interpreting the rest of them, or?
I've got about 3 minutes left, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you got to get going, that's all right. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's read one more time of the whole thing.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Sure thing. The entire
Give it a
thing.
go. Give it a go. Right now. I'll let
Okay.
you go. All right.
Okay. 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 Oh god. My brain. 1 second. Okay. Let me. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable, as to this which now I draw. Thou marshall'st me the way I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of a other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business. which informs us to mine eyes. Now the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtain's sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered Merva, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing sides, towards his design, moves like a ghost. Thou suit and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which they may walk, for fear they very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the present horror from the time, which now suits with it. Whilst I fret, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds, too cold, breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a now that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Thank you, sir. This was a wonderful collab. Thank you for coming. And
Thank you very much for your time. That was a lot of fun.
Whoever is here or stops by, I hope they check out your channel and give you a look. You make some great documentaries and everything. And where else? What is the channel name? Just the Lord Maulington? Is that right?
Oh, yes, that's right. It's the Lord Maulington channel. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to go away actually and kind of go through this a bunch more times until I can really get a good grasp of this passage, and then see what happens after a couple more hours of practice later.
Sure. And when you do it, just if you don't mind, make a recording and send it to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can put it up I can put it up on the channel as like an addendum to the stream.
Okay, that sounds fun. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right, man. Break a leg.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sonnet. And thank you very much for your time. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll speak to you later, buddy. Thank you very much.
Talk to you later. See you.
Take you later, man. Take care.
And let's. All right. Very nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you everyone for stopping by. Thank you, Lord Maulington, for all of your performance today. I am going to take this thing in the background down now, and I think what I might do is just go over some other monologues or whichever, and just see what would be fun to do. But I don't want to do the one that he was working on, because I don't want to take away from, or I don't want to potentially take away from his performance. I want people to kind of look forward to what he comes up with later, and kind of put something together for some kind of scene, I think. So this will be fun, I think. Now I just need to turn this off. How's everyone doing today? I appreciate everyone for stopping by, really. I always miss it. Okay, there we go. Well, anyway. So let's pull up some stuff. Professor, I'd love to hear you do some readings with that amazing ability of yours. Thank you. Very kind of you. But at the same time, with these collabs or whichever that I'd like to do with other people, I want to allow them to have as much fun or as much room to practice or give it a go as they can, You do yet live, Professor. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. I have with me the book for the Royal Shakespeare Company's version of Macbeth, and I might see. There are some really, of course, really fun monologues in this play itself. Just, I feel like I want to pull up an example of Ian McKellen doing a performance from it. Because he just does a phenomenal job with like the tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow speech. Let me go ahead and do that then. Ian. And let me get the show music back on here. Just for a little bit here. So thanks for your patience. So while I got this pulled up. Let's see. So let's do this old video from 13 years ago of Ian McKellen doing an analysis of Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And I'll chime in a little bit if I have something significant enough to contribute. Let's just have some fun. Let's go, and where is that? All right, let me get myself to the side a little bit. All right, and let's hear what Mr. McKellen has to say. Let me turn off my music here.
If this workshop's done anything, I hope it's scotched the, in my view, wrong belief that Shakespeare's verse is music and all you have to find out is the tune and everything will be all right. Rather, I believe that if you look after the sense, the sounds will look after themselves. I saw Maurizio Pollini play late Beethoven's sonata recently, and I had a strange feeling for about 5 miraculous seconds that I didn't know whether he was putting the music into the piano or whether he was taking it out of the piano. And acting at its best, Shakespeare, I think, is of that nature, that the actor is the playwright and the character simultaneously. This can only be...
So I would not necessarily agree that the actor is the playwright, but he's getting to a more fundamental point about approaching your work as an actor, because there's an essence to what you are doing on the stage and everything. And so in a way you will hopefully, as you explore, you will and understand things and analyze things about the character or the script, you will hopefully align yourself truthfully to the writer's vision. But that also still entails some kind of essence or expression from yourself. So that will hopefully, in my opinion, hopefully it will align with the actors, with the writers, and properly communicate that same thing or realize the writer's vision. But it's not just a matter of technical things. There is a sort of exploration of feeling and sometimes of your own spirit.
Achieved by the actor having total awareness of all the complexities of Shakespeare. So if we take a speech like Macbeth's last soliloquy, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which, to crudely summarize, is a description of total blackness, total despair, that life is finite. It isn't enough just to say that and put that quality of despair into the voice and just hope it and just follow the rhythms. You've got to do many more things as well. You have to think and have analyzed in rehearsal totally, so that your imagination, being fed by the concrete metaphors, concrete images, pictures, can then feed through into the body, into gesture, into timbre of voice, into eyelids, into every part of the actor's makeup. So
yeah, the whole, what he's saying is exactly right. There are so many things that are not going to be on the stage as well, but you kind of have to have an awareness of just that they would be there. And even the speech itself, the Tomorrow and Tomorrow monologue, is Macbeth having to react to the news that his wife is not even there. He doesn't get to react to her death with her in the room. She is completely absent. Some theater performances will find a way to put her in the space or to cut up the monologue a bit so that he can discover her body and react. But what he talks about and ruminates about is divorced from her presence. So it's a challenge that you have to be able to overcome as an actor doing that bit.
That it does seem, as Trevor just said, that he is making it up as he goes along, although the actor, of course, knows that he isn't. But to start at the top with the first line, and I'll try as far as possible to relate this to blank verse, but it would be impossible for me not to mention imagery and all sorts of other literary devices which we haven't been talking about generally today. Satan says to Macbeth, "The Queen, my lord, is dead." And Macbeth replies, "She should have died hereafter," which is a short line. She should have died hereafter, indicating that there should be a pause, I think. And during that pause in performance, with the audience rather around me as you are now, I used to take that advantage of that pause to catch the audience's eye and begin the soliloquy, which is Macbeth, me, the actor, to talking directly, sharing my thoughts with you, the audience. Hereafter introduces one element of time, the future. Then we get a regular blank verse line. There would have been a time for such a word. Didum, 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 didum. There would have been a time, stressed, time, this speech is about time, for such a word. Word is the last line. What word? Is it she, the Queen? Is it hereafter? Is it time? There's something about that line which trips, in Hamlet's words, tick-tocks like a clock. There would have been a time for such a word. It's leading on to the next line, and here comes the word which is important, tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow. There are only two words in that.
Real quick, he's referring to the rhythm that you'll find in the text. In any of Shakespeare's works, there is an amount of structure properly with the verse and everything. So with specifically in this play, it's majority verse, the way it's written. And even with it being blank verse, it's usually iambic pentameter. It's not always, but the exceptions are far fewer than the main. So he's just referring to the pitter-patter, that you can understand by analyzing the text. And so what you would probably do when looking at the text, which I didn't want to spend too much time on it, just wanted to save time a little bit. But you can look at it from where the stresses would be by examining the line as iambic pentameter. And you also need to know, even though that's the basis, you need to find where the exceptions would be. So there are things like an I am is a group of two sounds, one lighter and one heavier, with the heavier following the lighter sound. And so something that is, and pentameter is just saying that there are 5 beats in that line. That is the meter of the line. So iambic, though, is going to be that ba-bum, 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 the heartbeat that way. Whereas a line, depending on how it's written, might require emphasis in the beginning. And they're like bum-bum, bum-bum, bum-bum. And that's a trochee. That's what that's called. Trochee. And there are different variations as well. There is something called a pyrrhic substitution, for example, which is when there are 2 small stresses. And that is sometimes used to build momentum into the word that follows, some bigger sound, some heavier stress. And that's sort of interesting in its own right. Then there is, what's the other one called? I'm sorry. There's a 4th kind where it's 2 heavy stresses. But it's arguably not very common anyway. I'm sorry. I will try to recall that in a second. But let's listen to more of you, McKellum.
Line, an irregular line, given weight by its repetition 3 times. And the tripping of there would have been a time for such a word slows down on tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. The rhythm is important. It's also a nonsense word if you say it 3 times, or if you say it 20 times, like a kid skipping tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, 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 tomorrow. What does that word mean, tomorrow? It's beginning to have the lack of meaning, I think, that Macbeth detects in his own life at this point. Creeps in this petty pace from day to day. And here comes the first metaphor, the first image. And the rhythm is beginning to creep, is beginning to plod like someone plodding along a country lane. It's footsteps now, not the tick-tock of a clock. Creeps in this petty pace from day today. Well, we've had tomorrow. We've now got today at the end of the line. From day to day, but it leads on to the next line to, not day, but the last syllable of recorded time. And it slows up even more, ending up with a very important word, time, at the end of the sentence.
I think the thing that comes across as most essential to observe in this whole speech is just how much love of language there is. That's just the thing you need when you're performing. Or when you're learning this, it's just a love of words, a love of language. And the way, just even the way that tomorrow is savored, as it said, even though he's talking about, ironically, the meaninglessness of it, but the fun of putting those words together and understanding how it changes what it communicates based on how you put even just 3 tomorrows together. It's just fun.
Syllable. I wonder if bell isn't the bell of a clock which records time. And we get a regular line. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools. Yesterday. We've had tomorrow, we've had today, we've now got yesterday. We've got the whole complex of time. Macbeth is not just talking about himself, he's talking about eternity and going to say something about it. All our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. And that's where the sentence ends, in the middle of the next line. But one has to carry on and speak it as a line and a half. All our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. What is the image there that I must have clearly in my mind so that I can get the right emotion of despair? It's what? It's a fool walking along a dusty path, plodding, creeping, with petty pace. A fool is what? A village idiot? Wandering along a country lane with, what, a guttering candle? I don't know, a lantern? Fool is a pun, of course. Fools, like Lear's fool, Feste, in Twelfth Night, are professional entertainers. That will be relevant in a moment, and I have to contain in my mind, as I say the word fool, that it is a pun. See 2 sorts of fools. That line is completed with the shock of the harsh rhythm of out, out, brief candle. The fool's candle has caught a gust of wind and is blown out, and he collapses into a dusty death in the unmade road of Elizabethan England. The last candle or light we saw in the play is Lady Macbeth's candle, which she was carrying in her sleepwalking scene, and she is dead. It's Lady Macbeth's death which is being talked about in the speech. It is the fool's death, village idiot's death. It's going to be Macbeth's death. It's going to be everybody's death. Mm-hmm. It's at this time, about this time that Shakespeare wrote Macbeth, that candles were being used in indoor theatres. And that may be relevant too when we get on to the next line, which is, life's but a walking shadow. Walking gentleman is a phrase we still use in the theatre, meaning someone who is available in any company to walk on and play a meagre part. He's the lowliest member of a company. But life is not even a walking gentleman, he's a walking...
I think it comes across pretty obviously that there's a lot of research that goes into this. I'm going to go ahead and give this a go, and then I think we'll wrap it up here. Let's go ahead and close this. This is Act 5, Scene 5. And it will build up into this, and I'll play both characters, okay? So let me go ahead and get started then. Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that noise? It is the cry of women, my good lord. I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were't. I have supped full with horrors. Direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry? The Queen, my lord, is dead. She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. There's technically a line after that, but I'll end it there. I had a good time with Lord Maulington today, and chatting and everything. I'll look over everything and see about how to format streams like this in the future and maybe tighten them up or provide more direction to them, or maybe just have something more fun to put around the monologue and everything else. If you've been here watching, or if you're here after the fact, thanks for stopping by, and have a great rest of your day.